Imagine a place so secure, so brutal, that once you enter, you might as well be erased from existence. No windows, no daylight, no connection to the outside world. A prison so fortified that even the most dangerous criminals in the world have no hope of escape. Welcome to Seacot, the fortress built to lock away the worst of the worst. But this isn't just any prison. What happens inside these walls is something few dare to talk about. Until now. El Salvador wasn't just battling crime, it was at war. For decades, the country had been consumed by bloodshed, terrorized by some of the most feared gangs on earth. MS-13 and Barrio 18 weren't just street thugs. They were organized, militarized, and unrelenting. Entire neighborhoods were turned into war zones, their streets painted with blood. Ordinary people lived in fear, knowing that a simple mistake, walking down the wrong alley, refusing to pay a gang tax, or even just looking at the wrong person, could mean death. The government tried everything: police raids, mass arrests, military patrols in the streets. But it was never enough. Gangs ruled from inside the prisons, controlling their criminal empires as easily as they did on the outside. The cycle of violence seemed unstoppable. The world looked on, assuming El Salvador was a lost cause. Then, in 2019, President Nayib Bukele rose to power with one mission: end the terror at all costs. And he meant it. Bukele's administration declared a nationwide state of emergency, suspending constitutional rights and launching the most aggressive gang crackdown the world had ever seen. Over 75,000 suspected gang members were rounded up, arrested, and locked away, many without trial. Prisons overflowed. The old system couldn't handle this level of mass incarceration. That's when Bukele made his move. He announced the construction of a prison unlike anything the world had ever seen. A facility designed not just to imprison, but to completely neutralize the gang problem. The Terrorism Confinement Center, or CCOT, wouldn't be a correctional facility. It would be a tomb. CCOT isn't just a prison. It's a fortified nightmare, a place where freedom is a concept that doesn't exist. Its very design is a warning. Once you enter, you never leave. Built in the desolate outskirts of Tecoluca, it's surrounded by 410 acres of barren land, a buffer zone ensuring that no one gets within miles without being seen. The 57-acre prison itself is a fortress, encased by 11-meter-high concrete walls, reinforced with 15,000 volts of electrified fencing. No cracks, no weak spots, just solid, impenetrable concrete stretching as far as the eye can see. The 19 watchtowers loom over the prison, each manned by elite guards trained to respond with lethal force. Every inch of the compound is monitored by countless motion sensors, heat detectors, and AI-powered surveillance cameras, ensuring that no movement goes unnoticed. Even the ground beneath the prison is designed for security. The outer perimeter is lined with crunchy gravel that amplifies footsteps, making stealth impossible. Any prisoner who miraculously breaches a wall, an unthinkable feat, would still have to cross this exposed, monitored terrain, dodging snipers, alarms, and armed patrols. Inside, no guard walks alone. Security teams operate in squads, armed to the teeth, watching every move of the inmates. And if a riot or escape attempt were to occur, the response would be swift, brutal, and absolute. The final safeguard? The prison staff themselves. No one gets in or out without being thoroughly searched. Even guards undergo full-body X-ray scans before entering, ensuring that nothing, not a phone, not a weapon, not even a scrap of paper, makes it inside unnoticed. Escape? Impossible. Hope? Non-existent. For the prisoners, this isn't just incarceration. This is erasure. From the moment they arrive, they are stripped of their identity, heads shaved, assigned only a number, and thrown into a world of relentless control. The cells, meant to house 80 men, are packed beyond capacity. There are no beds, no privacy, just endless rows of concrete and steel. The air is thick with heat, sweat, and desperation. There's no escape from the constant glare of fluorescent lights, which burn day and night, ensuring that sleep is a distant memory. The noise never stops, echoing footsteps, distant screams, the clatter of metal doors. There is no outside world for them. No phone calls, no visitors, no letters. These men have been erased from society, left to rot in the confines of their own minds. The only voices they hear are those of guards barking orders and the murmurs of fellow inmates trying to hold on to their sanity. For 23.5 hours a day, they sit in their cells, staring at nothing, waiting for time to pass. When they are finally let out for their daily 30-minute exercise period, it's not freedom, it's a tightly controlled operation. Shackled at the wrists and ankles, they shuffle in lines, their bodies hunched forward, heads down, watched by guards who hold the power of life and death in their hands. There are no rehabilitation programs, no second chances, no hope. CECOT isn't designed to reform men, it's designed to break them. CECOT isn't home to ordinary criminals. It holds the architects of terror, the warlords of the underworld, and the executioners of countless lives. These men are not just prisoners, they are symbols of destruction, the masterminds behind entire criminal networks. Murder, extortion, drug trafficking, and human smuggling. These are the crimes they orchestrated on a massive scale. Before their arrival at CECOT, they ruled with absolute power, commanding armies of foot soldiers who carried out their every order with merciless precision. Now, they sit stripped of their empires, stripped of their identities, reduced to mere numbers in a system that offers no escape. Their presence here has sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld. Gangs that once controlled entire cities now operate in fear. With their leaders gone, the network of crime is collapsing, and El Salvador's streets are seeing a level of peace that was once unimaginable. But at what cost? Inside these walls, these men, once feared, once untouchable, are now ghosts, forgotten by their followers, forgotten by the world, their fate sealed in a concrete tomb where time ceases to exist, and redemption is a concept long abandoned. CECOT is not just a prison, it's where legacies of terror come to die. For some, CECOT is a triumph, a brutal but necessary weapon in the war on crime. For others, it is a dystopian nightmare, a symbol of unchecked power and extreme punishment. Reports of severe overcrowding, inhumane treatment, and complete psychological isolation have sparked outrage. Prisoners are denied basic medical care, access to legal representation, and even sufficient food. Some describe it not as a prison, but as a human warehouse, where suffering is the only certainty. Human rights organizations argue that a society is judged not by how it treats its citizens, but by how it treats its prisoners. So the question remains, is this justice or something far darker? The story of CECOT doesn't end in El Salvador. President Bukele has made a shocking offer to the world. He's willing to house international criminals, even from countries like the United States. Imagine a future where nations outsource their most dangerous criminals to foreign supermax prisons. Governments across the world, burdened with rising crime and prison overcrowding, may soon look to El Salvador as the ultimate solution. But at what cost? If CECOT becomes the blueprint for global incarceration, it raises a terrifying question. Who decides who deserves to be locked away in a place like this? In the name of security, could the lines blur between dangerous criminals and political dissidents? Could authoritarian regimes adopt similar methods to silence opposition and crush resistance? And if the world accepts these measures without question, are we inching toward a future where absolute control becomes the new definition of justice? What starts as a prison for the most evil could become a prison for anyone who stands in the way. CECOT is a fortress, no doubt about it. It's a prison built to hold the worst criminals alive, and for now, it's doing exactly that. El Salvador's streets are safer, gangs are weaker, and thousands of the most dangerous men in the world are locked away with no chance of escape. But here's the thing. When you build a place designed to erase people from existence, where does it stop? Right now, it's gang leaders, but power shifts, governments change. What if one day the definition of dangerous expands? What if political opponents, activists, or everyday people who challenge authority start getting sent to places like this? A prison like CECOT is a solution, but it's also a warning. Right now, it's the gangs who are locked away. But history tells us that absolute power never stays in one place. If the world embraces a prison system this extreme, it's not just criminals who should be afraid. It's anyone who ever dares to step out of line. So the real question is, who decides who gets locked away? And once that door slams shut, will it ever open again? Only time will tell. CECOT is just one piece of a much bigger picture. Prisons like this aren't just about justice, they're about control. And history has shown that when extreme measures become normalized, they don't stop where they were intended to. If this made you think, don't just let it end here. Subscribe to stay informed as we uncover more hidden realities, untold stories, and places most people will never see. Because the more you know, the harder it is to be kept in the dark. Hit subscribe, and let's keep watching.